See how like the emperor was saying, I'm in authority, listen to me, and then the Pope was saying, I'm in authority, listen to me. So they're kind of fighting for who's going to be in charge. And so this group of cardinals actually elects a pope. You know, it's not a vote, but they elect a pope when there already was a pope. So now you have two popes, which really complicated things. And this led to the Great Schism.
The what?
Schism, it's like a divide.
Alright.
So,
Never heard that word before.
okay.
You learn something new every day, right?
So, to resolve the problem of having two popes, cardinals from both popes who supported the conciliar movement formed a council on their own authority. They deposed both popes and elected a new pope, Alexander V. But the two other popes didn't go away. They just ignored that decision. They were like, that doesn't apply. So now there's three popes. One of them's in France, in Avignon. One of them's in Rome, and one of them was from some other place. So now there's three popes, and they're all plotting how to become the one pope, right?
The main pope.
The main pope.
The main
This is how, that's how goofy it got. So a lot of these popes in different areas, they would say, well, I'm the Pope of Rome, and I'm the Pope of Avignon. And then they would have wars against each other and battle each other. And this is the Pope. This is the leader of the church, you know, doing these things. So interesting. Until 1517, October 31st, Halloween, Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, he nailed 95 statements onto the door of Wittenberg. Yes?
Then he started the Lutheran Church.
What?
Didn't he start the Lutheran churches?
Well, the Lutheran Church was started in honor of Martin Luther. Yep.
Yeah.
And then there was the Calvinists who started the Presbyterian Church, other Reformation leaders that started different denominations. It's not working out. You might have to go back to Thursday. So, this might be kind of an urban legend thing, but it did change the church. A lot of the things in the 95 statements were about the abuse of power by the popes. And he was a Catholic monk, so obviously he got excommunicated. You know what that means?
Yes.
Kicked out. But he was really, Martin Luther was so just appalled by the decorations in St. Peter's Cathedral and the way that was done. A very expensive cathedral, and it was all paid for by selling indulgences, by selling people forgiveness. So he was outraged at the corruption, and he nailed this to the door, which started, you know, supposedly the Protestant Reformation. I'm actually getting an awful lot of texts. Okay. Zach.
Didn't monks used to wear their hair like that?
Yeah, all the time. Yep. Good question.
Sorry. I was gonna say, his hair is weird.
So why is it called the Protestant Church? The word is in there.
Protesting.
Protest. They're protesting the authority of the church. And that is one of the things that defines a Catholic church from a Protestant church. Is whatever the Pope says in the Catholic Church applies to all the Catholic churches. Here in the Protestant Church, you're part of the Protestant Church if you didn't know that, you don't have that. Each church is free to make their own kind of rules or their own government, however they want to do it. So in our denomination, you know, we're congregational, so we believe that the power is actually the people, not the leaders, not Eric. Eric is not the highest power in our church. The people are in the annual meeting when they vote. So this was the start of that protest, the Protestant Reformation, that changed the church. But really what happened was, I mean, the church just went like this, two ways. You know, those that were going to abide by the church's authority, and those that were going to say, we want freedom from the oppression, because it was, you know, it was corrupt. Hey, take it easy. And then in the 1400s, I think it was 1492, when Columbus sailed the ocean blue,
Oh, that's.
why did they come to America? Why were they looking to get out of England? What?
They were looking for India.
Yeah, but why were all the people colonizing at that time?
So they could get away from like religions.
From the state church, right? It's back to the state church. Because they didn't like everybody being a part of the state church. And there was corruption there, so there was kind of a persecution going on. So you know, I wouldn't call it necessarily the Catholic Church and then the Protestants left. It wasn't quite like that. But it was, people colonized all over the place just to get away from that kind of church, which we talked about before, state church. So Thomas Jefferson said that Christianity neither is nor was a part of the common law.
What?
And Hitler said the National Socialist State professes its allegiance to positive Christianity, because he was a Christian.
And he was against Jews.
He was a Christian and he was gay.
I don't read
It's kind of scary. I think this is probably, you guys can probably identify, guys, that's like 10 times we have to say stop. This is probably the worst representation of church and state together, you know, but that's what happens.
He made his own.
When your moral code becomes your state laws and your view of God and forgiveness and how all that works just becomes the laws of the state that are supposed to govern justice and peace. That's what happens. He believed in what he was doing. He believed it as a Christian principle. And you can make an argument if you open the Bible. You can make an argument that God wanted, you know, when the Israelites went into the promised land, God told them to go in there and kill everybody in the land. It wasn't an empty land. It wasn't like pioneers going, well, I don't know that was an empty land either. but it wasn't an empty land. And they said, God said to the people in Israel going across the Jordan River, go kill everybody, and we're actually going to take their houses and their gardens, and we're going to just take them over. Scary. Yeah, so he believed in what he was doing. But that's the problem with the commingling, not just mingling, of church and state. All right, what questions do you have at this point? Okay, there's some questions on your sheet that are important to think about. So just take 5 minutes. The biggest question is, how does separation of church and state benefit the church? How does the separation of church and state benefit the state? It's sort of a dual protection for the church and for the state. So think about that. Answer it as best you can. Oh, push the wrong button. And you guys heard that too.